talking about the bag lady. That's me. I'm her. We're going to talk about all of my luggage, what goes in there, and how I pack, etc. Before I get started with those details, I am a flight attendant for a major legacy carrier based here in the US, and I've been a flight attendant for 2 years. Oh my goodness. So I got off a rotation night before last, and it was just a really, I talk a lot about how much I love my job, and there are times when I'm at work and just inconsequential, just meaningless little things happen where I am reminding myself that I love my job, I love people, and I love to travel. And it's not all the time, and when it happens, it's pretty quickly that I revamp and my mood anyway, and reassess and all that good stuff. This particular time, oh my gosh, believe it or not, I was not one left. I was among the regular normies in the back part of the aircraft, and there's a particular route, and I would love if flight attendants or pilots who have heard all the things we say to put your best guess. It's one of our nightmare routes. I think every airline. And I just instantly was like, these people are animals. These people are animals. And the flight attendant in the back that was working in the galley, I think she just must have saw something. And she said, "Hey, can you hang out back here for a minute?" Didn't really know why or what was going on. And of course, being the middle child and being a people pleaser, I'm like, what? Did I do something wrong? And after boarding was completed, she said, "You have been out here holding all the babies, chatting to people during service, making these personal connections. So if a flight attendant like you has that look on her face, she needs a minute. You needed a minute." And I was just like, wow, thank you so much. Because I don't want to be in the public eye with a scowl. That's never good for me. And for many flight attendants who prefer flying lead when you're not, for me personally, when I'm not, I do know how to stay in my lane, and I will do it. It is fine. But it is a little bit uncomfortable, especially if the person who is lead is unhinged, a prima donna, rude to flight attendants, pilots, or passengers. This lead was phenomenal. Not the flight attendant I just told you about that saved me. It was the last leg of the day. And she saved me, not that person, the one that was lead. And he was just spectacular. And we instantly bonded and became quick best friends. Of course, flight attendant best friends just means something else. It is a beautiful and yet sad part of this job. We really connect, and then we'll keep in touch via text, but life goes on, and so do our schedules, which are often different. So anyway, super glad to have had that rotation. All four of us were just a vibe. Anyway, 10 out of 10. If I have to be assigned not lead, I would love to work with all of those people again. Anyway, on to my bags. So this isn't a really hot news or anything. We are all packing pretty much the same things that passengers are packing to an extent. We're going to have clothes and shoes and, food items and hygiene products and all that good stuff. So I will tell you, I'm sure that most airlines are going to have a limitation to the amount of bags and the size of bags that their crew members can carry. So for me, I carry 3 bags. That's going to be my lunch bag, my ready bag, and my suitcase. And I will just tell you the things that pop out. I made an entire episode about that lunch bag. What's in it? How much? How do I keep it cold? So I won't dive too much into lunch bag details. I will say that on the outside pockets, I try to keep my electrolyte packets, condiment packets like hot sauces, lemon juices, etc., teas and stuff like that, so I don't have to go digging around. My ready bag is going to have my onboard flats in it, my multivitamins, a smoothing brush in case my hair gets unruly, lotions, potions, and oils because it's very dry in the cabin. I'll have some single dollar bills. We tip our shuttle drivers. I'll have those in there so I don't have to dig around and I can access them quickly. I will have, well, this might be actually a hot take. I have a portable bidet. It's kept in, its own little pocket and stuff. I have a bidet at home and I have for quite some time now. And I just love it. It's just fresh. I'd rather wash and not wipe. I don't want to have to hop in the shower. I just want to be clean every single time. I want to wash away everything and not just wipe it away. Love the bidet. Adore it. So use one at home. And I found one. It's basically a bottle. And then I put sterile water in there, and then I screw on the lid, and the lid is a rechargeable thing. None of this touches any part of my body. I just hold the bottle, and then the nozzle portion has 2 different pressures, and it just, again, washing away instead of wiping away, and, we have our periods. We are saran wrapped in shapewear. Some people wear pantyhose. For me, I would just rather be able to wash away. That's my opinion. Okay, moving right along. Thanks for making it awkward, Alma. Moving right along. So I do have that in there, and I have like some sanitizer wipes. Even though it doesn't touch my body, it's been in the bathroom. So, onto my suitcase. Of course, I want to keep a bathing suit in there. You never know where you're going to wind up. And even when you're scheduled, typically we will fly as scheduled, but there are those occasional times where you get rerouted to a nicer, warmer place. And even when not, most of our hotels have pools. I work inside of a tube. I'm running around all over airports, and I'm inside of a hotel. I'm actually an outdoor girly. And I would much rather be outside. You cannot tell me that I am not rich and famous if I'm having my coffee poolside. My feet in the hot tub or, lying in a sun chair, getting some rays before, getting shoved into a tube in the sky. Love that. So I'm always going to have a swimsuit in there. I'm always going to have a pair of white sneakers. I love that trend. I hope it never goes away. It's very easy for me to keep a small pair of shoes in there. One time I was in Nashville, and I was definitely, okay with going out until I realized I didn't have any other shoes. I just had my onboard flats or my high heels. And at the time, we had some new hires. Not that I'm super senior, but we had some brand new people, and they really wanted to go out. And I just felt bad. They begged me, and I said, okay. And so I was so uncomfortable. I was in joggers, a crop top, like a crop top hoodie, and then on board flats. And, it's like, who's actually looking? It doesn't matter. Once you're uncomfortable with your appearance, you're just kind of like, you're just uncomfortable. So anyway, always keeping those white sneakers in there. When I'm home, I like a class-based, instructor-led exercise program. Class. When I'm on layovers, as nice as those hotel gyms can be, I just don't know what to do. I think I've talked about that in the episode called Baldy. I don't know what to do in those gyms. I have a sister you could just hand her a can of peas and a gallon of milk and she'll make a workout out of it. For me, I need that instructor and like those 10 other people doing the same thing with me or alongside of me or whatever. But I do want to stay active. It's not vacation. It is work. And so when I had a ground life, I tried to be in the gym more days than not. So I'm going to try to stay active on my layovers, and I'm going to have a good tennis shoe for like running and walking, aside from those sneakers that are just for, clothing outfit purposes. Speaking of clothing, of course, I'm going to check into my rotation and see, do I get into any city that I actually want to be out in and exploring? That's another thing for those comfortable running, walking shoes. They are cute, and they can, I can kind of make them work with not so athleisure wear outfits, but that way I'm not getting blisters or hurting my feet since I need to prance around airports in high heels. So I'm going to see where I'm going, what's the temperature, and if I want to pack like a specific outfit to be out and about the town. Otherwise, I'll just throw in a sports bra and some, depending on the temperature, shorts, pants, joggers, etc. Nothing really revolutionary there. I have a little bag that has like some things just in case. Like I have a menstrual cup in its own little sandy bag. And then I have some special soap for that to keep that sanitized if ever I need to use it. I have pads to sleep in. I have extras just in case flight attendants need anything. I have like a little deodorant and a little body spray. I've left like those items in hotels before. And then on the next day, I'm like, So I have that just in case that happens again. A small, I don't know. I feel like my skin is so sensitive. So I have to have my specific soaps. So I have a little tiny travel version of that just in case I leave it in the shower at the one hotel and then the next layover, I'm like, I'm out of it. I also have a watch, some earrings, and some components of uniform accessories just in case I or anyone else is, an extra set of wings. Somebody is going to be Alma as well. And there'll be 2 Almas on that flight just in case something happens and they've lost their own, or if that happens to me. I keep just some pens and little forms and papers and stuff, and for doing meal manifesting and flight attendant information cards and stuff like that. So that's kind of a no-brainer there. I keep some like hair products in the travel size. I try to keep just a sleek bun or a sleek pony on board as much as I look like Steven Seagal or a founding father. Bless me. I do. Unfortunately, that's just what I got to do. My hair's not short enough to wear down. And for my airline, there are sometimes waiting at the door of the aircraft or about the airport that you're traversing, and it's just too easy to not be in trouble. So that's another reason I keep those spare earrings, though. Not a requirement, but I think it helps feminize my face when my hair is so slicked back. Yeah, I think that is it. I wish I had more cool stuff to tell you. I'll tell you how I assemble it real quick, though. I do use packing cubes. My shoes are always in their own separate bag with socks. And then I have a very thin bag just to put dirty items in. I have a bag, meaning like kind of packing cube. And then I have my hygiene bag that's going to have like any cosmetic stuff like brow gel, bronzing drops, blah, 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 toothbrush, toothpaste, tongue scraper, etc. All that's in there in its own little respective cubbies or pouches rather. And that all folds, nicely into one little thing. And then I have another packing cube for clothes to be not at work in. And then my uniforms. The uniform packing cube will have like an absurd amount of shapewear or undergarments or what, just in case. I mean, I think we've all had to wash something in the sink and hang dry it, but I don't know what I think is going to happen, but I'm prepared if it does. So a couple uniforms and some clothes. I have, all different packing cubes for those items. So shoes, uniforms, civilian clothes, hygiene, and my laptop goes into, a protective thing and then in there as well. And also my headphones, like my over-the-ear headphones, just for like when I'm taking a walk or whatever, I'll have that. And then I also have like a little fanny pack that I always keep in there. I'm sorry if you're from the UK and you find that word to be terrible. I'm like a waist bag, but not W-A-S-T-E, W-A-I-S-T bag. And that way I can have like my sunscreen, lip balm, phones, like all that good stuff in there when I'm taking a walk, and my little headphones. And that's kind of it. I'm like in my mind going through where everything is. I mean, I think I'm, some people may have eye masks if they're flying international all the time and they need to be sleeping when it's daylight out. I bring a book, because I don't have social media. There's nothing for me to do on my phone. Not that I would in front of passengers anyway. And not that having a book is not against the rules. But anyway, I'll have a book. I don't know why I think that might be sort of better in the eyes of the passengers, but if there's nothing to do, I may take a gander at a few pages. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. Sorry if this episode was incredibly anticlimactic. I would love to hear from other flight attendants or pilots, aviation professionals that have like really found hacks for how they pack, what they pack, etc. Of course, commuting, you're going to be packing a little bit more, maybe some extra clothing. When I was a commuter, my crash pad hotel would let me keep like laundry products at the hotel when I was gone, so I didn't have to carry that all the time. So that was very nice because I would do coin laundry while I was away. But love to hear from anyone who has anything mind-blowing to add. Like, you know what though about myself, I bet there are passengers, frequent flyers that are packing better than I am. Everything's just in a cube for me, and it's all, I have my home stuff and my travel stuff, and I have a little like extra, like a squirrel, like just tucked away, like tiny deodorants and like spare watches and like all that stuff just in case. But yeah, let's hear from passengers too. Well, thank you so much for joining. My name is Alma, and this has been One Left Inboard.